Cross live to our reporter Lerato Fekisi, who's been out and about on the streets. As you know, residents there are under an effective lockdown. There has been major restrictions on movement and, of course, let alone gatherings. This area alone accounting for one of the highest numbers of COVID-19 cases. You would have known that it was reported by the health department that the COVID-19 variant that we're seeing now in South Africa, in fact, originated from Nelson Mandela Bay. So a difficult one for residents of the Eastern Cape. Lerato Fekisi now tells us more about what she's seen today. Lerato?
A difficult one indeed. I think in my years of being in the Nelson Mandela Bay, I've never seen the metro like, I would say, on a go slow. It's like a ghost town. There's no one on the street. I took a drive to the beachfront where people are still allowed to walk but not go on the beach, and it is so quiet. I went to various suburbs and it seems like there's no one in the town. I don't know where people have gone to, but it is really so quiet. There's one or two people on the street. I think the only full areas that I saw were inside malls, but in terms of the town, people are definitely adhering to the COVID-19 regulations. Absolutely no one at the beach, Tepiso, which is just so strange because normally on the 24th it is chock-a-block with people braaiing, having fireworks, having such a ball at the beach. But now, because of the COVID-19 regulation and us being a hotspot, none of that festivities. But it's not all gloom and gloom. We are called the friendly city, and the municipality is doing all it can, pulling all the stops, Tepiso, whether virtually, to make sure that this year we close with a bang. Joining me this afternoon is Princess Tobin, who's head of communications in the municipality. Tell us more exactly what have they done to try and make sure that even in the doom and gloom there's still a silver lining. Princess, we're talking earlier on and you're saying, you know what, it is perhaps a gloomy Christmas, but there's stuff that you've done at the municipality to try and make sure that there's light at the end of this somewhat dark tunnel.
Yeah, it's a somewhat dark tunnel. It's been it's the first time in 30 years that we don't have any festivities on the beachfront. And this has had a negative impact also on businesses, and we really have to recognize that fact. The municipality took it upon itself to ensure that it does present some kind of a program, that it must not be all doom and gloom and all quiet. The summer season that would usually be presented on the beachfront is now being presented virtually on Bay TV on channel 260. There are comedy shows. There's a Christmas special on tonight. On New Year's Eve, there will be a music show at 10 o'clock in the evening.
And then, Princess, obviously there's also the White Space campaign that you've launched as well. We are saying, tourists, please come to the metro. We haven't closed down our doors. We are adhering to COVID-19, but there's still things you can do within open spaces, but still complying to COVID-19 regulations.
NMBT has come up with a brilliant way, Nelson Mandela Bay Tourism has come up with a brilliant way to say thank you to those patrons who have not cancelled their bookings to Nelson Mandela Bay. We must remember, Nelson Mandela Bay is such a beautiful coastline with beautiful attractions. And they've launched an app where it gives patrons options of what they can do within the current situation that we find ourselves in, the wide open spaces. On that app, it will tell you, different categories of what you can do. It is catered for the entire family. For more information, people can log on to the website www.nmbt.co.za/Port Elizabeth apps. You can also download the NMBT app on Google Play or on Apple iStore.
We also spoke earlier on that one of the concerns that you still have as a metro, that people are complying, especially in terms of the beach, but the taverns are still quite a concern for you because you went there this week as well and you saw that people still, even during the day, are not complying.
It is a concern, and the Minister, Becky Cela, was also here yesterday to highlight this fact that the night establishment, the taverns, in the locations, are still presenting a problem in the city. Also, the other problem that the city is facing are the long queues at the post offices, the long queues at the labor departments, and some of the shopping centers. Also, some of the shopping centers who are not presenting or not compliant in terms of the proper COVID-19 regulations, making sure that the sanitizer that they present to patrons coming in or shoppers coming in meets the requirements of 70% alcohol. So the law enforcement agencies are overburdened with that responsibility to go and physically tell people at the long queues, please, can you space out? Today there was a blitz where all the stakeholders in the city went to those queues. Law enforcement agencies are still on the ground day and night, trying to really educate and to enforce the COVID-19 regulations.
And then lastly, Princess, there's this beautiful tree behind us. I mean, you can't ignore it. It's literally 2 times our height. It was lit about 2 weeks ago by the mayor Ngababanga, and when he lit it, he said that the importance of it is that people can still come here and celebrate the beauty of this town. Why was it important for you, even despite the COVID-19 pandemic, to still have such a significant tree where people can come past and perhaps reflect on the goodness that still lies in this year?
You know, if anything, COVID-19 has to teach all of us is that we have to appreciate what we have. And as much as we are in a huge problem or in a tight situation, we have to find a way to enjoy ourselves. So this was just a token of appreciation to say to the residents, we know how tough it is. We know that you have to stay at home. We know that it's not normal as before, and this is just a way to say thank you for complying, and that you can come and see a glimpse of what it could have been like.
Well, that was Princess Tobin, Head of Communication, saying that to be so that the beautiful bay, the friendly city is still open. There's so much that still people can do in the metro. There's wide open spaces where people can have fun while still complying to COVID-19. Like she said, a concern are still taverns or people are not adhering to COVID-19 regulations. But she said, like the tree behind me, there is still always a silver lining. And this tree, perhaps people, when they walk past, they will get some hope that despite all that we have been through, at the end of the tunnel, there always is some light.
And indeed, Lerato, there definitely is a silver lining. When I'm looking back at reports at the end of November, PE in places like Motherwell were being called a joke, especially in their non-compliance. And looking at PE now, we hear the health department, in fact, Dr. Nell confirming as well earlier on that PE is now nearing its peak of the second wave, meaning other provinces are seeing an increase in cases, but not the Eastern Cape, because there have been stricter measures taken there. Thank you very much, Lerato Fekisi.